Cowley.
Mr. Secretary, last year you testified before this committee that this administration's policies were not responsible for the surge of illegal border crossings. And today you've testified that this administration's policies are responsible for what you claim is a decline in illegal border crossings. So why is it that you deserve credit when numbers go down but not blame when numbers go up?
Congressman, 2 points. One, the approach that we are taking, expanding lawful pathways and delivering consequences for those who do not use them, is working, but I want to communicate that the challenge remains. The challenge is a persistent one on our southern border. It has been for decades, and what we need is
Mr. Secretary, you're speaking in general terms, and I think this is why many of us on the committee are frustrated with the lack of accountability, is that you have shattered all records in terms of illegal border crossings. You say that has nothing to do with the dramatic change in policies you had, and then there's a brief decline, and you cite that as evidence that you're doing a good job. And I think that's why so many Americans have lost faith in this administration's ability to secure the border. But I want to actually reference some remarks you made that I found somewhat encouraging. This was on the topic of detainers. You made these remarks early in your tenure, April of 2021, at a UCLA discussion with the Immigration Law and Policy Center. You said this, you referred to an example of someone who crossed the border illegally and went on to commit sex offenses. And you said, I do not believe that individual should be released into the community. You said, I think the state facility should turn that individual over to ICE directly, and you added, I think that is a public safety need. You went on to say that after such a person had served their sentence, if they were a citizen, there might be no way to keep them out of the community. But you said, I have a tool at my disposal with respect to an individual who unlawfully entered the country. You said, I feel strongly about this. Is it a tool that I have at my disposal? It is a tool I feel obligated to employ. I am going to protect the public, you said. It's a very strong statement in favor of detainers. And yet, over the last couple years, we have seen the actual use of detainers decline dramatically. Fiscal year 2021, there were 65,000. Fiscal year 2022, 78,000. That's about half the average during the Trump administration, about 1/3 the average during the Obama administration. So if detainers are such a powerful tool, why have you used them so sparingly?
Congressman, let me communicate a very important point, that individuals who pose a threat to public safety or national security are detained. That is the immigration policy of the Department of Homeland Security under my leadership.
But why are you detaining much less than your predecessor administration?
Well, one is our detention capacity is limited, which is why we prioritize public safety and national security threats, number one. And number two, detainers are sometimes not honored by particular jurisdictions.
I want to move on to that in a second, but just briefly, has the White House directed you to limit the use of detainers?
Congressman,
that's a yes or no question. Has the White House?
Congressman, no, they have not.
Okay, thank you. So on this topic of jurisdictions not honoring detainers, you have been critical of these so-called sanctuary jurisdictions. In a 2022 speech to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, you said some of your cities have declined to cooperate with immigration authorities in the removal, the apprehension, and removal of individuals, even if those individuals pose a public safety threat. You said, I will be coming to you and asking you to reconsider your position of non-cooperation. The public safety, the public's well-being for which we are all charged is, I think, at issue, you said. So, Mr. Secretary, you agree that sanctuary policies threaten public safety?
Congressman, what do you mean by sanctuary policies?
Because the definition that you gave right there, where you said the declining to cooperate with immigration authorities and the removal, the apprehension or removal of individuals, even if those individuals pose a public safety threat. Are those sanctuary policies, as you define them, a threat to public safety?
So sanctuary policies are defined differently by different communities.
But to your definition,
if I may,
is it a threat to public safety?
I do not consider it in the service of public safety to release an individual into the community when that individual can be released to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for prompt removal.
Thank you. Do you oppose state policies that forbid local authorities from cooperating with ICE?
I am aware of some that I do oppose.
So you oppose California's sanctuary state law.
I am not familiar with the particulars of that law.
Have you encountered California's restrictions on cooperation with federal immigration authorities?
Congressman, I believe it is imperative that we cooperate with one another, jurisdictions cooperate with us when it serves the public safety need.
Thank you. I'm out of time, but I would like to restate for the record that the policies you said that you oppose, overriding the ability of local jurisdictions to cooperate, that's exactly what California's sanctuary state law does. Thank you, and I yield back.